Well, at least we got a picture up at this point.
All right, cool deal. I got my kids here, so you might hear some noise in the background with them, but I mean, it is what it is.
That's all right.
All right.
I love that coffee cup.
Ooh.
That's
yes.
my life.
Well. Your name is Mark?
Yep.
Well,
I
welcome
go by
to our podcast. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's actually my real life nickname. I got that when I was playing baseball when I was in high school.
How'd you get a nickname like that?
Long story short, I went to a high baseball tradition high school in Charlotte, and at the time it's no longer that way. But there was a player that preceded me by about 5 years that ended up making it to the majors. And my JV coach, said I reminded him of him because we both played the same positions. Of course, I never made it to the majors because I couldn't hit a damn curveball. And that was his nickname, was Twig. So he was a second baseman for the Montreal Expos back in the mid '80s.
Oh wow!
So that's where I've gotten that nickname, and it's stuck with me for my entire life.
That's cool.
I'm guessing you don't play baseball anymore?
At 52, I'm lucky to play baseball on the PS4.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, and I've had back surgery this year. This year's been very tough for me. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I played baseball up until I was 44 years old, so I got my body's use out of it.
Right.
Hey, that's good.
So I see a bunch of arcade machines behind you.
Yeah, that's not all of them, but that's just...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey,
yeah, that's just the one. Just the ones in a frame. I have more.
Oh man!
All right.
Yeah. So we're recording now. So, go ahead,
so
Tom.
welcome to the Brothers by Law podcast. You are our first guest.
Cool.
And
It's a pleasure to be here.
it's exciting to have you, and definitely excited to be talking about those fancy things behind you.
Yep. Anything you want to know, I'm the self-proclaimed brand ambassador and the loudest son of a bitch on Facebook in support of these cabinets.
I've noticed every time I get on Facebook, I see notifications from you. I'm like, man, he's on there.
Yeah, I am. There's a lot of misinformation put out by people that are anti these things. Why they're anti, I have no idea. They're purist or whatever. They want to justify the thousands of dollars they spent on their authentic arcade cabinets, so they want to poo-poo everything else. So I've taken it upon myself to go in there and knock them down a peg.
All right. So what got you, I know these are relatively new. What got you into the whole arcade, backing them basically?
Right. Well, I've been gaming since gaming started. My mother had a Commodore 64 back in the early 80s, and I was, in my 11, 12, 13 years old, somewhere in that area, and she had it for an actual computer. She wasn't using it for gaming. I found out that you could game on it, and I'm like, what is this? And then it wasn't about 3 months later, I ended up going to an arcade and seeing Space Invaders for the first time. It wasn't an arcade. It was just like, I think it was a Pizza Hut or something that had a Space Invaders cabinet because arcades weren't around then. And I fell in love with gaming then. And I've been, this is my teenage years behind me. So, and retro gaming is coming back. Oh, well, it's not coming back. It's really big right now. Yeah. But I've been gaming my entire adult life. Actually, probably since I was about 11 years old. And then one night I was on Facebook. I've been heavily, I used to play, and Thomas can tell you, I used to play a lot of mobile games, but the time sink of those games, just, you have to log in, to collect this. I got tired of it.
It is very annoying.
And my wife said, look at this. And she showed me, she actually found it first, where the arcade cabinet was on her ad. It just popped up on her ad. I think she was Christmas shopping for me for video games, is why it showed up as an ad on her page, because that's not her scene. And I looked at it and I'm like, whoa, this was before they were released to the public. I looked at it and I'm like, whoa, these things are cool.
Yeah.
And I started looking into it, and I looked and I looked and I looked, and I'm like, the price point is right. The game, the first one I saw was this centipede that was behind me. That was the first ad that we got. And notice the marquee is different. I've got a custom marquee on it, which I can go into that later if you want me to. But I started going on their ads and on their official pages, and started really going to bat for them, even though I hadn't had one and never even touched one or seen it.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was on there so frequently that their social media team noticed, and they reached out to me. And long story short, I ended up being such a proponent for them that the president of the company even noticed, whom I talk with fairly regularly. And I've become their, not official, but I've become their liaison between the company and the general public. That's long story short, and that's why I have so many cabinets, because I really believe in the product, I believe in the company, and I believe in the hobby.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying if you find something you like on Facebook, troll them, and you can get where you're at now.
I don't know if I'm not going to say that it will work for everybody. I'm relentless,
Yeah.
and I tend to have a lot of wit and sarcasm that comes across fairly well and on Facebook. So, I mean, not everybody has that skill set. I'm not really saying it's a skill. It's really not.
I'd
Maybe
call it a
flaw.
skill. I definitely.
But whatever, it works because I really believe in the product. So, and it's the first time anything like that's worked out for me. So that's where I had a little YouTube channel to begin with about a different venture, which I've subsequently backed away from. And that's why my YouTube channel is nothing but these things now.
Do they send you those or do you buy them?
I cannot disclose that.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. But either way, even if they were purchased, or some of them were purchased, or all of them were purchased, or if they were sent to me as they're not review units. I've never if you've watched any of my videos, I've never come across or tried to put myself across as a unbiased reviewer.
Right.
I am a walking advertisement for these things. So there's, I've never tried to portray myself as being a reviewer. So even if any of these were sent to me, which I am not confirming or denying, it wasn't because, I'm not saying that I like them because they were sent to me. I like them because I like them. Yeah, I love them.
Well, I can contest to that because you were messaging me when they were first coming out, and you're like, "Oh man, check these out," and you were telling me how you were just trolling them all, and then and I see you on Facebook everywhere.
Trolling. Right. I'm sorry. It gets to the point where the trolling becomes humorous, and I even entertain myself with some of my responses, to be honest.
But yeah, I see you on there. I know you run at least one arcade group, at least one. I think you might do two, right? And then we have No, you just do the one.
Yeah, I just do the one Arcade1Up fan group, and if you want to come see us, come join us. We're almost at 4,000 members, and that's just by word of mouth. There's another Arcade1Up Facebook group that is officially endorsed by the company. I'm not. I just started one on my own. By word of mouth, it's grown to almost 4,000 people.
Yeah, there's a lot of they post daily on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and you were on that run that all gaming page. And
yeah, that's just stuff
for everything, not just arcade, but for everything.
Right, something I came up with that I just thought may be a good idea because I like consoles a lot. And I figure, there are some other, Atari Age, there's some other all gaming groups on there, but I wanted one that I could control what the content was, which is pretty much, I don't control it because I want all the content out there. I don't care if you want to talk about board games or you want to talk about card games, Magic the Gathering, you want to talk about authentic arcade cabinets, consoles, whatever. I'm finding that to be very enjoyable.
It is. I do enjoy the group. You see a lot of cool stuff posted on there. Huh. But, all right, back to these arcades. What's your favorite one you own?
Final Fight, which is not pictured in here. Oh. Yeah. I like the Final Fight one because the other ones, most of the other, except for Centipede, that has different games on it. But the other titles that we have, I love them nonetheless. But I like the diversity of the games on the Final Fight cabinet because you get a side-scrolling beat 'em up, you get a vertical shooter. What else is on there? You get a side-scrolling platformer with Strider, and there's one other game on there. It's been a while since I've played it, but you get 4 different types of games, and that's the only cabinet right now that offers that kind of diversity, because the other ones are kind of tied together. Like Pac-Man's got Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus on it.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat obviously has 3 versions of Mortal Kombat on it. So I like the diversity. That's why Final Fight's my favorite one.
All right.
That's kind of cool that there's multiple games on a single unit. I figured they'd have just the one. So that's kind of neat.
I'm sorry?
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I just thought they were all just going to have like the single game on there.
Right. And that's another thing that, there's what people are trying to portray as a competitor out right now, which is a different company coming out with an all-in-one cabinet, and that's a different customer base. You want to get these behind me. I guess they only have 2 or 3 games on them, and 4 games max. But look at that Pac-Man side art right there.
Yeah.
That's why you get these games. You get multiple of these cabinets that are behind me to emulate an arcade. So, I mean, I've got a wall right there that when you walk in here, and granted I don't have the track modes on right now because we're recording, but when the sounds are on, it emulates an arcade. If you have one cabinet that plays all the games, for me personally, I spend more time trying to decide what game to play than I would actually using it.
Yeah. Now, that's something I want to get into too, because you see along some of these pages, a lot of people start talking about how they, are modding them. So they buy some of them to mod and throw all the games on there. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool how they're, I guess, it's capable of doing that. And you get that whole arcade feel. But yeah, I think having like every game on one would just be way too much. I'd be like same as you, like what one do I want to play today? And then by the time I figure out what I want to play, I don't want to play no more.
Right, that's exactly right. Well, I mean, there's a market for those too, because like let's say you're in a college dorm and you have very little room. You get one of these 3/4 scale cabinets that are only 4 feet tall or 5 feet if you put them on the riser. It's not going to take up a whole lot of space. You could throw a Raspberry Pi in it, or you could throw a Pandora's box in it, and you can have all your games. And for those people, that's perfect because they don't have a whole lot of space.
Right.
So, and that's not only that, but these cabinets behind me, the Arcade1Up, it has spawned so many side businesses and allowed people to make money. Just due to, they from everything to just gutting them out and putting Raspberry Pis in them to doing just the aesthetics, like these light up marquees behind me, like the custom one I have here. The Golden Tee behind me was actually one that came with the cabinet itself. But there's so many companies out there. The graphics on the Mortal Kombat, I really don't know if you could tell all that much from this camera, but the bezel is a custom-made bezel by Tyler at Arcade Graphics, and it has the special moves for every single character in the game around it.
Oh,
well, that is convenient.
So
it is very convenient.
Are all these like custom-made, or some of them just like refabricated older versions or something?
Well, you talking about the marquees?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a lit marquee on my Pac-Man yet. Angel Otero, Angel Otero, name drop a little bit, is the one who makes the lighted marquees that I get. He's going to be sending me a Pac-Man one. But the Get Off My Lawn Gaming is obviously, that's my YouTube banner and that's my YouTube channel. So that's why I threw it on my Centipede machine. The Golden Tee came on the Golden Tee machine. My Mortal Kombat, obviously isn't lit, and my other cabinets don't have lit ones on them either. But I will be getting all lit marquees for those. That was something originally I didn't care about, but once I saw one, I'm like, okay, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta get that.
That's
pretty cool. So how many of those things do you have? Because you said those 4 aren't all of them yet. Oh, 8?
How many are out?
Yeah.
How many official ones are out? How many?
Well, I've lost count because they've come out with party cage now, which is like a countercade, but it's a little bit bigger.
Oh, yeah, a little smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say we're getting, if you include the uprights, you include the cocktail cabinets they've got out now, which they have 4 different versions of that. They have 2 blacks, and then they have the Street Fighter and the Pac-Man Yellow machine. Then the countercades, and now the party cades, and now they're coming out with some wall cades where you can what they are is the same size as these behind me, but they've got the bottom cut off. You just hang them on the back of a door, or you hang them on a wall for space conscious people.
Oh.
But it's still the same size as these. I think we're getting close to 30 different SKUs, official
That is
SKUs of
cool.
these now. And then they're coming out with at least 4 more on CES in January.
Sounds like they've been
All
busy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Thomas, I could see you actually getting that for your gaming theme park.
Oh yeah.
Thomas wants to make a gaming theme park.
That was our episode we just recorded, which will come out after this
Right.
one. Talked about
Right. Well,
basically setting up like a arcade floor in this big old gaming hotel.
Like that'd be legit.
yeah. Now they're not commercial grade, so I don't want anybody to think about getting these and try. I mean, there are companies there are people that are renting these out, but they are not commercial grade. They will not last that long.
Huh.
But I mean, they're not industrial strength. I mean, they're 3/4 inch PDF. So when you have when you have kids that are just beating on these things continuously, I mean, eventually, I mean, they're not poorly constructed. That's not what I'm saying, but they're meant for home use. So and you do those in 2 of these I've had that are behind me. I've had for over a year now, and they're still going.
Are they heavy?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
They are constructed without the riser, 63 pounds.
Oh, whoa!
Oh, yeah, they're not that heavy then.
I was thinking that
Nope.
they're like gonna be like
I
100
mean, they
pounds.
look like they'd be heavy.
Yeah.
But
No,
Okay,
they're
I see what you mean
63
now.
pounds. With the riser, they get maybe close to 85 pounds, but that one's on a riser. Now, granted, it's on linoleum in here, but you just saw me move it with one hand.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
That's not bad.
that is cool.
So like do you get to like pick out like the casing and what kind of stickers go on it, or does like it
No,
just come pre-made?
that's all aftermarket.
Okay.
My guy Tyler has the lion's share of the market right now, but there are other companies that are coming out with graphics. Mr. Profit is the one that came out. He's the one that designed the graphics for my custom marquee behind me, and then I also have another one on the wall. There are other companies that are starting to come out with graphics, but when you get it from Arcade1Up, there's not official OEM interchangeable graphics.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty legit.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing a lot of people posting like different side art that they sell to put on them. Some of them pretty cool looking stuff.
Oh yeah, well some people really want things like Donkey Kong, even though there's no way Arcade1Up probably is going to be able to secure the license from Nintendo because Nintendo doesn't like to play nice. But
Yeah,
there's I believe Tyler makes a Donkey Kong kit where you can turn the side arts, the marquee, and the front panels into a Donkey Kong machine.
Which would be cool. Even though you don't have Donkey Kong on there, it would be cool to look at.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Donkey Kong is an awesome, iconic game.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just aftermarket companies that are making the graphics for it, and then you obviously, if you want to put a pie in there or a Pandora's box, you can get it that way.
So you mentioned a license. Is it hard to get a license to get those games on there, or?
Well, that's not my field of specialty,
Okay.
but I do know that the director of licensing at Arcade1Up, John D. I can't pronounce his last name. He came over from Capcom, so
Oh, okay.
he was in the same level at Capcom, and then when Arcade1Up became a reality, because Street Fighter was the first arcade cabinet they came out with, and Street Fighter is a Capcom license, and then within talks of the president of Tastemakers, who's the company that makes Arcade1Up, and Capcom, they ended up being able to sweet talk and get John D from Capcom to come work for them.
Nice. It's nice to have somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, it's good to get those
Right. So
inside
now John D has all kinds of contacts within the gaming industry, and he's working on getting whatever license the community wants. And if you get into any of these groups and you start seeing the upcoming releases on these cabinets, you're going to see that what the licenses they're going after are the ones the community wants that make sense. Obviously, they're not going to get Donkey Kong, but like they're constantly trying to come up with different form factors. They have a Star Wars cab out now that has a yoke controller, which prior to that the yoke controllers were roughly $500 just by themselves, and they were able to manufacture a yoke controller that is pretty sturdy. On that cabinet, and I don't own that one, but there's sturdy on that cabinet, and keep the entire cabinet at $500.
Just kind of curious because like those older games, like wasn't sure how the licensing worked with that, or if it was just like you can do whatever you want with it or something.
Well, no, they licenses obviously sometimes come and go. If you remember Killer Instinct was a rare game. Everybody wants Killer Instinct, by the way. The CHD games are going to be kind of hard to make on these PCBs, but Killer Instinct was originally manufactured by Rare. And, Rare did a lot of work with Nintendo. They're the ones that did Donkey Kong Country and all those back for the SNES. But subsequent to that, over the years, licenses changed. Rare was bought out by Microsoft. So the only way Arcade1Up is going to get a Killer Instinct cabinet, besides the technological needs of it, because, like I said, CHDs aren't going to work on these current PCBs they have, is to partner up with Microsoft, because Nintendo no longer owns the Rare license.
Right. And I don't even...
It's complicated, but it's doable.
Yeah. Is Rare gone now? Or are they still...
No, they're owned by Microsoft.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if they're... Yeah, I don't know if they're around as an actual company, or if they just got migrated into being Microsoft employees or not. That's not something that I know a whole lot about. But I do know that Microsoft owns... They own Rare, or what used to be Rare, but they definitely own the rights to Killer Instinct, as an example.
Okay.
Yeah. I know, because, that's... Rare is the one who does Banjo-Kazooie and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, I think the last game they did came out through Xbox.
They did CFPs
That's correct.
as well.
Yeah.
I just know they haven't been doing so hot, so...
I've heard all these different rumors of Banjo-Kazooie coming out again, but we'll see what Microsoft decides.
Absolutely. Well, if they take into account the popularity of the DLC for the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate with Banjo-Kazooie, they'd be kind of silly not to.
Yeah.
And the Xbox is going to need some help when it releases anyway, because it's already behind the 8 ball, because Sony is knocking its dick in the dirt.
Yes.
Sony, I think, Microsoft is sort of falling behind.
Yeah, I'm hoping they'll do good with this next gen. They've been doing a lot of prep work, so I'm like, I hope.
We'll
see.
So, these are multiplayer cabinets, some of them, right? So they have multiple, so they actual arcade, multiple...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Setups.
We have Arcade1Up has everything from 1, 2, 3, and 4-player cabinets.
Now, the 3,
Pac-Man's obviously a 1-player cabinet.
They have the 3 for the Rampage one, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Oh, I love Rampage.
And then,
Rampage.
And then obviously, the 2-player cabinets are going to be the Final Fight and Mortal Kombat behind me, because you can see the 2 Batops for Mortal Kombat. Yeah. And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that just came out is a 4-player cab.
Yeah, freaking old school TMNT 4-player. That's what's up.
That's right.
Is there an option to have like 2 cabinets playing together, or?
No, not yet. But the people are clamoring for like 6-player X-Men, and frankly, these things aren't wide enough to do 6-player cabinets, because 4 players is tight enough with average adults. But the prospect of being able to do like the old Game Boy was, the Game Boy Link. Remember that, when you had the cord on the 2 Game Boys? Being able to do that would take some technology that are above my pay grade, but that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, having your own, playing Mortal Kombat against someone, but having each your own cab, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, if they're gonna go that route, they might as well go ahead and get that 8-player Daytona sit-down cabinet configuration going.
That would be cool.
Do you think there's any future for them doing some good, basically when you go to the arcade, you got the seated racing or the shooters with the guns? Do you think any potential for those?
I would say personally, probably not. But then again, I didn't think they were going to come out with cocktail cabinets either. It seems like their niche is, the 3/4 scale licensing is different than the full scale licensing. That's one of the reasons they sell these like this. The other reason is because when they're in 48 inch size boxes, they can go into retail shelves, and the weight is something that they can still send with UPS or FedEx, things like that, because they have 70-pound limits on their boxes. So that's one of the reasons they stayed with this 3/4 inch. But the licensing is also different between 3/4 inch and full scale arcade. So if you're talking about full scale arcade, because I don't know about y'all, my ass ain't fitting in a 3/4 scale sit down cab. Or when I stand up, it's gonna be attached with me.
Yeah.
That
So
would be a big arcade machine.
It would be.
yeah, it would. So I mean, I'm not looking forward to be walking around seeing like a fat guy in a little coat like from Tommy Boy with the cabinet still attached to my ass. But yeah, the licensing would be much different, and I just think that would put. I think that would put that at a premium price that people that buy these would just be unwilling to pay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be awesome. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It would be cool though. I mean, yeah, I can see the size being a bit of an issue, but if they could find a way to get like, or at least a way to you could be able to adapt it to like your own chair,
That'd be cool.
but they have like the pedals and the steering wheel. Oh, that would be so cool.
I've been wanting to do that to, like with my PC for a while. It's just it's
Those setups are
expensive and it's hard.
Well, yeah, I mean that would be really cool. But I mean, if they could come out with a way to do that, let's just pull out all the stops. Let's get an afterburner sit down cockpit cabinet. Let's get a Star Wars cockpit
That'd
cabinet.
be cool.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Just put it in my basement. You find me just enjoying life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who needs furniture in your house? Just put arcades in it.
Hey, that works.
My wife would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm chilling in my cockpit. Go away, leave me alone." I don't have to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of ways to conserve space because these are hollow inside. You just cut out the front, put some drawers in there, put your clothes, you're good to go.
Hey, that's a dresser right there.
That's right.
A cool dresser. Until you open it up, it starts making a tune.
Where's your socks at? It's under the Mortal Kombat.
No, I said my underwear was under Centipede, not Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's great.
Do you think there's a future to have these with more modern games or just classic stuff?
Well, like I mentioned, with the PCBs that these run, I think the limit are going to be probably to the mid 90s, because when you start talking about Daytona USA, for instance, or Killer Instinct, or some of those more modern games that run on CHD files. That's going to require a higher end PCB to be able to run. Now, if they could get them in bulk and somehow find a way to keep them maybe under 500, then I could see maybe, because there's the millennials want to play those newer games. They don't. The Missile Command is like reading the Bible to these guys. They just don't want to sit around and deal with it. I get that. Exactly. What's Space Invaders? Who plays this? But with the current configuration, both with the price point that they've managed to establish and the PCBs they have, I think it would be very hard. But I mean, I didn't think these would be possible. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I always wondered that because like I like a classic game every once in a while, but I was like, I don't know if a modern thing would sell very well just because everybody's got their big TVs now. So I was like,
Yeah.
And man, well, I completely understand. If I had a Sunset Riders cabinet behind me, I'm done. I'm done. That's one of my favorite games of all time.
So I get like a whole cool fancy setup with Red Dead Redemption 2, just sitting there. You're like my little arcade. That'd be so.
Oh well, there are people that have already modded these to put Switches, PS4s, and Xbox Ones in them.
jeez. I can see that.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
overkill
Why put that
for
on a
a small
17-inch
TV.
monitor? I have no idea.
So if you could have an ultimate cabinet, 4-game max, ultimate cabinet, not having to worry about licensing or anything, what would you put in it?
It would probably be an all Sega cabinet because I'm a huge Sega guy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that I would put Virtual Cop on it because I like rail shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual Fighter. Probably I'd probably have to go with Outrun because you couldn't really put a Daytona game on that because you'd have a driving cab, and then how would you play the other game? So let's go with Outrun, and I really liked Afterburner.
Okay.
So it's an all Sega
That
cabinet.
is a fun one. I like that
That'd be an
one.
all Sega. That'd be good.
And they haven't done that yet, and I've been pushing for them to get a Sega license.
That's true.
Yeah,
Sega will play with other people.
If they throw Sonic out there, I mean, people are going to eat that up. If they get Sonic on that like that, oh, people will eat that up, I think.
I would.
Yeah, well, maybe the younger generation that grew up playing with consoles, but Sonic was never an arcade game, so I don't know if people in their 40s would jump on that. I mean, I'm not saying it's a great game, I love it, but I think they're primarily going to probably want to stay with arcade ROMs.
Yeah, but I think
classic style.
It would work great with the buttons though. The Sonic.
it would.
I don't know why it would.
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't turn into an arcade. Like, they could have probably easily implemented it into an arcade.
Oh, well, a buddy of mine, Ralph from Retro Ralph, he modded 2 of his cabinets, one for a Genesis and the other one for a Dreamcast. So I mean, it's been done.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's got an all Genesis cab.
That is nice.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that hard to make, or just about the same as that?
Well, I mean, you got to go in there and put new buttons in it and leaf switches, and you obviously have to run a Pi or however you're gonna deliver it, because you're not going to be using the stock PCB.
Okay.
And then you have to get your USB encoders and your video encoders, things like that. I mean, it's
something
not
that would need a little
hard.
modification.
It's not hard at all.
All right. So we talked about the good stuff.
Mhm.
Now, unbiased, what are the negatives about these?
The negatives about these, although I've not experienced them, is the initial rollout. The company was unaware that the oils on your hands were going to wear off the paint on the control decks.
Oh.
So, yeah. So what they did was they offered them till March of this year. They offered free replacement plexi overlays to go over them, and then for the first generations of the ones that weren't shipped with them already, they sent the paper inserts to go over to cover up where the hands had already rubbed off the paint. But from the second generation on, every cabinet comes with the plexi included.
Okay.
It works pretty good.
Yeah, it works. It's perfect.
Okay.
It's absolutely perfect. You don't even really notice it's on there. I mean, I don't know how much you guys paid attention to how your hand felt when it was resting on a control panel when you were playing the arcades. I never did. So,
Yeah,
I mean, exactly. So that never really bothered me, but the plexi does protect the paint. The first couple of waves had some QC issues, where that there were some that went through QC that probably shouldn't have, but the company was pretty retroactive on jumping on those as well, and they ramped up their QC. And the thing about QC issues and things like that you see on these various Facebook posts, things like that, what people have to understand is a 90-day warranty is standard for consumer electronics. Everybody's saying, well, that's not long enough. 90 days is standard.
Yeah.
It's standard for a hair dryer. I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, what do they want? Lifetime warranties? But
No, that'd be a little much.
yeah. And the thing about it is that the people that are on social media use social media. Think about Facebook specifically when people are complaining about issues. Facebook and Facebook groups is like Yelp on steroids. Because when you go to Yelp, you're one and done. You say your piece, and then you go away. And I mean, I don't know how many times have you guys ever gone back to look at your comments you put on Yelp? No,
Nope.
You never do. But when you go to Facebook, you get instantaneously confirmation bias on what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
So when you go on there and say, well, this company sucks, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, yeah, no product pleases everybody, ever. And if there weren't issues that could possibly go through quality control, then there wouldn't be a need for a company to have a warranty, would there? No. Because their shit is perfect. So obviously there's going to be obviously there's going to be QC issues that crop up. But the thing about Facebook is they get confirmation bias on what they're saying is true, and then sometimes they're just fishing for likes to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Now, that's not saying that some of these complaints aren't valid, but if they're spending time going on there and constantly going on there to answer people like me that go on there and tell them otherwise, then they're simply looking for they're just fishing for likes and shares. That's all.
Yeah.
That again, that doesn't mean that there aren't problems. Of course, there are problems. There's problems with every single product that's been since humankind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
especially with like electronics, I mean, anything go wrong, and it's
exactly.
not necessarily the seller's fault.
No.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not. And if you don't come across looking like a douchebag, then your problem's gonna get addressed. It's just don't be a dick. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a Gen 1 and Gen 2. Is there a future generation type?
Well, Gen 3, which I don't have any pictured here, Gen 3 was the most recent one, and that has the Star Wars arcade cabinet, that has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 4-player cabinet, and then it also has the limited edition Marvel superheroes. It comes with Marvel Heroes. It's a beat 'em up. I'm so sorry, it's a fighter. It comes with Punisher, which is a side-scroller, and X-Men Children of the Atom. Those are the three most recent cabinets. So Gen 4 is what will be released at CES this coming January.
Okay.
And that doesn't include the cocktail cabinets, the party cage, the wall cage, and the counter cage. Those, we're only talking about uprights. So
yeah, we're just talking about the uprights.
Right. So the fourth generation of uprights is coming out, and they're also testing. And as far as what I said about them listening to their customers, they initially came out. They were going to come out with a Karate Champ. They showed it at I think it was CES last year, where Karate Champ was the artwork on the side, and it came with Karate Champ, Burger Time, Caveman Ninja, and I can't remember the fourth one off the top of my head. But people wanted Burger Time to be the marquee game on it. So not only did the company listen and change it, and they're going to release this, it's not a secret, they're going to release this at CES in January. But not only did they change it, but if you're familiar with the Burger Time cabinet, it was not your standard form factor cabinet. It's got on the top of it, like on the top of this Pac-Man, that's where they all look now. They're same form factor, same angles and everything. But the Burger Time cabinet on the top there, it's going to be cut out like a die cut baseball card would be, where the chef's head is for Burger Time.
All right.
That's kind of cool.
So they're starting to come out with unique form factors even for their uprights. So Burger Time is now going to be the marquee game because they listened to the community and went back to the drawing board. Burger Time is going to be the marquee cab for that cabinet. And Karate Champ's still on it. It's just one of the secondary games.
Awesome. That's a good company. Listening to their people.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's another podcast a good friend of mine, Steven and Glenn, do called the Tech Buzz. And earlier this week, they had John D., the one I've mentioned, his licensing guy, was on their podcast. And then Scott, the CEO, president of the company, called in too. So, I mean, he's in tune with the community. Yeah, he's in tune with the community. He's active on the boards and everything else.
Give him our number. So, all right. I already know the answer to this, but is there any untold things you could tell us? Like a first sneak peek for any listeners on here that no one knows yet. Is there anything you got that you could sort of...
Do I know? Yes, I know. Am I telling you? No, I'm not.
I knew that would be the answer. Gotta try.
Right.
I have to try while I got you here.
Right. Well, I completely understand if the situation's reversed, I'll be doing the exact same thing. But, I mean, realistically, you've only got a few weeks away from CES. So, I mean, it'll be out there in less than about 4 weeks. So you'll know. And trust me, you're going to be surprised.
All right. I'm excited. I don't own any yet. I do want some.
It's been a dream of mine. I always wanted at least one.
Yeah.
But I never had space until recently. So
I've now big space. I'll just got to get the money to get one.
Well, I tell you what, check your Walmart app. Don't look at the Walmart price because a lot of them, at least around me, I'm sure it's probably the same around you too. But around me, they're still showing online at full price. If you're in Walmart, take your Walmart app, scan the barcode on some of the older machines. You might find them at $75.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's not bad at all.
I may have to go to Walmart later.
Right. Right. So any of the Gen 1 or Gen 2s, you might luck out, and then they might be $75.
Nice.
Going to Walmart later.
Yeah.
Like I'm picking one up.
I don't care about the wife's...
And the lights you can just like throw in your car.
Yeah. Who cares about the wife's
Absolutely.
Christmas party? We're going to go to Walmart.
Take
Yeah, and they literally only take about a half hour to put together.
That's not bad.
No.
Oh, so they like it comes like in pieces?
Yeah.
That's flat pack.
Oh, that's legit. Okay. I
flat
was
pack.
thinking it just came in like all together or something. So,
No, it's in a flat pack box. Again, that's why they did it that way, so they could be in retailers.
yeah, it makes it a
That's
little bit
nice.
easier to like transport it too.
Yeah.
It does.
All right. Do you got anything else you want to throw in about these before we try to start wrapping up?
No, they're absolutely perfect. The ones behind me are on risers, and that gives me the option to play when I want to, if I want to stand up or sit down. I'm a T-Rex, disproportionately short arms, so they work out perfect for me. But even a normal sized person that has normal length arms, they're still going to be fine because people are saying they're too short. When they're on the riser, what's throwing them off is the top of the machine is lower than what they're used to. The control panel, which is what matters, is the same height as the OG cabinets would be, usually within 1 or 2 inches. That's what matters because that's what you're using to interact with the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus,
Alright.
I think people were like shorter back then too.
Yeah.
We've gotten pretty tall.
Well, I know that I was. I was shorter and a few hamburgers thinner.
All right, Mark. Well, it's nice having you on here.
You got anything you want to plug before you go? Or before we're done here?
No, if you have any more, you want any more information about these cabinets, just look for Arcade1Up Fan Club on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all my socials. That's pretty much what I plug. And if you're inclined, go take a look at some of my videos on YouTube at Get Off My Lawn Gaming. And that'll be about it.
All right. Well, we're wrapping this up. It was good talking with you. Good to have you on here.
Yeah, guys.
Good to learn
Yeah,
more about
yeah.
these Arcade1Up machines.
You can have me back on anytime because I do consoles too.
Hey, we may have to jump in. I know you're really enjoying the Switch, so we may want to go look. We were talking about looking back at the Switch again, and I know you are a big fan of the Switch right now.
Yeah, it was the last console. Well, it was the last current gen console that I picked up, and I'm going to tell you that since I've gotten my Switch, my PS4. I'm a Sony fanboy. Don't get me wrong, but my PS4 was unplugged for about a month, and I didn't even know it.
Jeez. It's okay.
It's
I
a
haven't
good
touched
system.
mine either. My Switch is
I've
my
just
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing Zelda. Now, let me ask you guys this: when you get to think about this, when you get to the next Switch episode, what is the percentage that you guys play docked versus handheld?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I know I don't really dock too much.
I don't use mine handheld hardly at all. I would say 90% of mine is docked.
Huh.
I'm about 70 docked, 30 handheld. It depends.
We'll have to put a poll out there.
Yeah. I was like, I
kinda
usually have it on there docked and playing because before I had that, the drift issue. And so I would just
Right.
have my controller hooked up. But like when the wife's home and I sort of want to be in the same room, I have it
Yeah,
as the, handheld.
I do that. That's when I play mine. That's the few times that I play mine handheld is when the kids are watching TV or the wife watching TV or something's going on in the house. But I prefer to play mine docked 100% of the. I mean, if I could, I'd just play it 100% of the time. Which the Switch Lite does me no good. Now, if they come out with the other kind, I might be inclined to get that one.
Yeah. Just like
The
just a
docked
straight
only.
docked only system.
More horsepower.
Yeah, dock only system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do know that on some of the higher end games that you lose some of the resolution on the screen when you play dock versus handheld. But when you're as old as I am and have vision problems, I mean, does it really matter? I don't know the difference between 8K and 4K. It could be 400K, and I wouldn't know the damn difference.
That'd be incredible.
That would be some nice settings. Like you could just,
It's reality right there.
yeah.
You can smell it.
It's so good you can see the disappointment in the character's parents.
Well, absolutely. But I mean, I love gaming, and I'll come back anytime. I have my finger on the pulse of the gaming community, so I mean, it's been really enjoyable talking. Thomas, I've known you for a long time, so
Yeah.
A good touching base with you. You can have me on anytime.
All right. Well, there we have it, folks. This was our Arcade1Up episode with the amazing Mark, Mr. Twig. Get off my lawn gaming.
Yep.
There you go.
Go check out his
There
stuff.
you go.
Go check out those Arcade1Ups. And you guys know our stuff. You can find us pretty much everywhere at Brothers by Law, or Brothers by Law Pod, and now Brothers by Law Productions.
Yep.
Wow,
And
big time.
Yeah. We've
Yep.
been stepping up into all kinds of podcast realms.
We've jumped up past. We're doing more than just podcasts. We're doing a little bit of. We started doing YouTube videos and streamings, game streams, and all that good stuff. So we're definitely trying to push forward and go further.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting into streaming myself. I mean, there may be an audience out there that likes to watch old people fail at video games. So
I'd watch it.
I was actually telling a buddy the other day, I was like, you know what's better than watching a pro play video games? Watching a noob play video games.
Yep.
Just failing.
yeah, but the trouble
constantly.
is, I'm not a noob.
Well, no, but it was just funny to think of like just someone just dying all the time.
Here you go. You can
Right.
do it.
Well,
No glasses.
I will say when I fail, my language can be very salty. So that might be entertaining. Who knows?
I would
yeah.
be entertained.
Yeah, I mean, I'll rage quit without destroying my equipment, but I'll get right up to that point.
I've been there plenty times.
Especially when I'm playing Smash Brothers online, and I've got some 12-year-old on the other end playing Bowser that just is OP to begin with,
Way
and I
too
just like
good.
exactly.
It's like, hate you kids.
Oh.
All right, Mark. You take care, man.
Yeah, we'll catch you
All
later.
right, man. All right, take care.